Welcome to Lighting for Profits with Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What is going on? Welcome to Lighting for Profits. I'm your host, Ryan Lee. Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio, where we go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And it's time to go live. You guys ready to make some money? Who wants the easy money? Billy Joel sang about it. Sang about that easy money. That's what we're going after while we're in the landscape lighting business. It's a lot of fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. Whether you're listening on Turfs Up Radio, live on YouTube, or live on Facebook, super glad to see you. So glad you're here. Oh, man, you guys. How is everybody doing? I'm super excited for today. I'm excited for the 7th episode of Lighting for Profits, 7 weeks in. And I'm excited. We have a really cool guest on, Jeremy Sviben. He is the owner of multiple companies. He owns Botanical Lighting and Lighting Shrink, which is a wire connecting system. So super excited to have him on. We're going to pick his brain about how he has maintained his success throughout this industry over his time. And one thing we're going to talk about, this guy's big on maintenance. And I love it because he's figured out a way to sustain his lighting business with maintenance and got a lot of good stuff, got a lot of good pointers and tips. So super excited to have him on. He's coming up on just a few minutes when we get this thing rolling. So guys, earlier today had an awesome call. We had our weekly coaching session inside Landscape Lighting Secrets. And I'm telling you, man, these guys are crushing it. These guys, they joined the program and they're raising their prices. They're closing more deals. By the way, they're closing more deals on the spot. They're not wasting time with no back and forth. They're growing their companies. They're on their way to financial freedom. Okay. And right in front of my eyes, they're literally going from business operator to business owner. And it is awesome. It is so cool to see. I'm so thankful for these guys. One, I'm thankful that they joined. Okay. That's good for business. I need people to join. But even better, number two, that they are taking what they learn and implementing it into their business. They're implementing it. And it is so cool. And they're making it work for them. They're making it work for their systems, their personalities, everything else. And it's awesome to see. Very, very cool. So I'm so thankful for you guys. Thank you very, very much. By the way, I'm going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going out of town. I'm going to be in St. Louis the rest of the week. I'm going to be at Clipicon and Trans World Christmas Show. So it's going to be in St. Louis. I'll be teaching a class on how to add landscape lighting to your existing business. And that's going to be a lot of fun, teaching that with friend Luke Jensen. And then the rest of the week, I'll be sitting in my booth. So if you're around the St. Louis area, come say hi. Come say hi. I'll be on booth 4027, and let's hang out a little bit and give me some entertainment because I don't want to just sit around and be bored all the time, right? So come say hi. And also, as a quick reminder, these shows are recorded and they're uploaded as podcasts. So if you have not already, go and subscribe to Lighting for Profits on any podcasting platform that you're familiar with. Just go out there and do it. Subscribe. That way you'll be notified when a new one comes out. And I believe I tested this. You actually get notified before. I think it's like 24 or 48 hours before. So I usually upload them every Tuesday night and you'll get it right away, whereas everyone else has to wait. So go ahead and help a brother out and go and subscribe for me. And don't forget to leave me a review. I actually had a couple people give me a 5-star review. So whoever that was, thank you. There was no name attached to it, but thank you for the 5-star review for the podcast, at least that I saw on Apple. So that was really, really cool. Thank you, guys. And if you're looking for other free resources, of course, every week here on Turfs Up Radio, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be live with a new guest. We're talking all things landscape lighting. So whether it's design, install, maintenance, but profits, I'm always getting into it. Like, how do we make money? Okay. I am not afraid. I'm not embarrassed to say I'm a capitalist. I want to make money. I want to help you make money. And it's not that, listen, when I grew up, it was like I was taught, not by my house, but going to church. I felt like money was the root of all evil, right? It says it in the Bible. But the thing is, money's not evil. It's the root of all evil. So it depends on what you do with it. So you can make a lot of money and do a lot of good things with it. And what I like to do is do a lot of good things for my clients. I like to serve my client at a higher level, and you can't do that if you're not making a lot of money. So it's great to be charitable and nice and kind and everything else. But listen, you need money if you want to be able to serve at a higher level. And that's what I'm here to do. I want to help you guys make more profits so that you can go from business operator to business owner. So a couple free resources. You got Landscape Lighting Mastermind Facebook group. Just go search for it in Facebook. You got to apply, but I'll let you in there. And I basically I weed people out. So you got to give me your name, email, and business name. And if you don't qualify, if you're not somebody that I would feel like it would be a good fit, if you're just a homeowner that's curious about landscape lighting, there's other groups out there for you. But if you're a business owner and you want to take your business to the next level, then go and join and I'll let you in. Of course, we got YouTube, Landscape Lighting Secrets. And then every month I do a training, a free training. Who does this? With Ryan Jaso, the lighting boss. And we talk about a different topic about landscape lighting and how you can grow your business and how you can be more profitable. So don't forget to sign up for that. If you see it, an invite on Facebook. And if you need some of these links or anything like that, shoot me an email and I'll be happy to forward some of them to you. support@ryanleecoaching.com and I'll hook you up. So, guys, one thing we're going to be talking about, I'm going to ask Jeremy about later on is, we're going to be talking about maintenance and serving your customer and everything else. But one thing I want to talk about before I have him on is customer service. Okay. One thing that most people get wrong, like everyone in whatever business you're in. Okay. We're talking about landscape lighting. So let's keep it real. Let's talk about landscape lighting. It's all about being the best designer, best installer, best lighting company, whatever. That's great. But honestly, like you got to understand this. You are in the customer service business. You are in the customer service business. You just happen to design and install landscape lighting. Okay. I'm sorry to break it to you. You're not in the landscape lighting business. You are in the customer service business. And you just happen to design, install, maintain. Like that's just what you happen to do, but you are serving your clients at the highest level, or at least you should be. And a lot of people have this backwards. So was it last month before? I can't remember, but on one of these free trainings we did, we had a webinar and we talked about the client journey. And Ryan Jaso was sharing an experience he had where he got a private golf lesson and he was super excited about it. The guy was highly recommended it. The guy was a great coach, everything else, right? Well, the lesson actually ended up being really good. So in the end, it was a good lesson. But what was a bad experience was the experience, like getting to the course and finding the guy. And I'm not even going to try to share the experience because it was terrible. And he has all the details and everything. But what I can tell you is recently, about a year ago, I had the opportunity to build a house. Okay. It was a spec home that we took over and it was exciting. We'd never had that opportunity and we're building it. And honestly, the process was terrible. The experience sucked. Like I hated the builder. The communication was terrible. They kept doing stuff backwards and doing stuff twice and fixing it. And I was just like, who does this? Like who runs a business like this? I mean, it was just terrible. Now we've lived in our house now for a little over a year and we love the house. They build a great product. Their subs are awesome. Like they are a great home builder, but they've got it backwards. They think that they're a home builder. They're in the home building industry. And then they forget about this thing called customer service. If they were to just flip that and be like, you know what? We are in the customer service business. We just happen to build really nice homes. Holy cow. They could take over the world because this is a nice house, right? But most people have it backwards. And I'll never build a house with this guy again because it's like, dude, you made my life miserable for a year. Like that's just not worth it. And all it takes, I mean, no one expects it to go perfect. So if your process is, if you can't show up to a job on time or something happens or whatever, that's okay. You just need to communicate those things, right? So communication is key. Customer service is what it's all about. Because just like Ryan's experience, when, overall it was a really good lesson. Like he's like, man, that guy was top notch. Like it was really good. He's not going to go back because it was a terrible experience, right? When you consider the whole journey that he had to go on, it was just terrible. Even though the actual product was good, the service was good. And so I don't want you guys to get screwed up by this either. When you're doing landscape lighting, you got to make sure that you're there because you're in the customer service business and you just happen to do lighting. So focus on this. And I promise you, this will take you places that you wouldn't even imagine. Okay. Everyone's fighting in the same area of the ocean and they call it the red ocean, right? Because it's just a feeding frenzy and everyone's going after the same person. When you start to do things like focus on customer service, I'm telling you what, you all of a sudden are now in the blue ocean and there's no competition You can charge what you want. You can do what you want. And it's awesome. Hey, by the way, if you guys are on YouTube or Facebook and you have any questions coming up for Jeremy Sviben, go ahead and post them in there and we'll put them on the spot and see if we can make them sweat. So go ahead and post those questions now. That's right. Go ahead and post those questions now. And so we can be sure to ask him. And I'm saying what's up to Paul Gosselin Sr. How you doing, buddy? And he wrote, we don't sell lights. You don't really even have to sell lights, right? Because you're just in the customer service business. They come in, if they like you and they trust you, they're going to buy from you, right? And so that's how it works. The key to the game is service. And that's how it works. Like I said, I mean, I built this house. This house is awesome. But unfortunately, it was a terrible experience. And now I'm not going to be using this guy again. I don't refer him to my friends. People ask me all the time, hey, who built your house? It looks really nice. I tell them who it was, and I also tell them the experience. And unfortunately, they choose not to go with them. That's unfortunate. And, I know a lot of guys are like, yeah, but, I don't need that. And they justify it, I'm sure. And they're like, yeah, but trust me, they're plenty busy. They're not thinking about poor little old Ryan, right? They got their next customer they move on to. But that's one strategy. It's not my strategy. I would much rather have a smaller customer base, take care of them, and have them just be in my ecosystem for the rest of my life than try to just keep recruiting and recruiting and recruiting, right? Now, I like to do both because I like to scale. I like to get big. I like to do both, but I love being able to serve my client at the high end. Okay. What's up, Nick? Nick Luggett, this guy, man, he is one of those guys that is going to take over the world, right? And it's because he prides himself on that customer service. And if you focus on that one customer today, not thinking about the next one and the next one and the next one, they're going to take care of you. Listen, when I started landscape lighting business, I had no idea how residual it was going to be. I was like, man, $4,000, I better get it. This is my last chance, And what I quickly found was that it's actually very residual. I mean, not just maintenance, but they do their front yard today, backyard 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now, whenever they add lights, right? And then they move. They get a promotion at work. They win the lottery. Who knows? I don't know what happens, but these people move. They get bigger homes. They get rich. They get richer. All right. They go from $1 million house to a $2 million house. They go from a $2 million house to a $5 million house. And I promise you, if you're taking care of them, they're going to take care of you. Right. So don't be worried too much about your next customer. Worry about the one that you've already got. And that is my message for you today, because it's that important. And it's so important to focus on these clients. And that's one reason I'm excited to have Jeremy Sviben on, because he knows this. He's been in at the game longer than I have. He knows this. And so we're going to pick his brain and see what tips he's going to give us. Right. So, all right. You know what? We are going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back. So make sure you guys are sticking around. I got Jeremy Sviben of Botanical Lighting and Lighting Shrink. I'm going to ask him about both companies because he's got a lot of wisdom, got a lot of good things to share. So stick around and we'll be right back, guys.
Do you hear that? It's quiet. No sounds of anger, attempts to throw a phone or computer out the window, or annoyance trying to change your business to make it fit into a software program. Crew Control just works. It's easy to do your scheduling. You can be up and running in less than a day. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. Give it a try for yourself with our 2-week free trial. crewcontrol.com. That's crewcontrol.com.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Let's Attention all veterans. Have you heard about Turfs Up Radio's Jobs for Vets program? If you are looking for a job and you're interested in working in the landscape and snow removal profession, there just might be a company in your local area that is looking to hire. All you have to do is send us your resume at jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. That's jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey, landscape pros, are you tired of digging through rocks and roots and breaking shovels in the process? Then it's time you checked out the Geo Ripper 616. It's a landscaper's dream with the Makita 6 Series 2-cycle engine producing over 4 horsepower of raw performance. The 616 digs deep in up to 16 inches of the toughest soils. Lighting, landscape, and irrigation contractors already love this improved lightweight trencher with its ability to get in and get out faster, easier, and with less ground disturbance. And you will too. This redesigned Geo Ripper 616 comes with 2 heavy-duty digging chains and a whole mess of helpful extras. To learn more about the Geo Ripper and how it can help you out in the field, visit georipper.com today.
It's time. You know what that sound means? It's time to welcome our guests. Let's get them in here.
Hello.
Guys.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, what's going on, Jeremy?
Oh, everything that should be. Thankful.
That's awesome, man. What are you thankful for?
As I get a little bit older, just thankful for the moments I'm in. You know what I mean? Taking it slow, enjoying little things. That doesn't mean the big things still won't come up and give me a hard time. But I try to slow it down, you know?
I like it, man. Well, I mean, like Paul said, you're a real OG, so you figured out some of this stuff that some of the younger guys haven't figured out. To enjoy the moment that you're in, right?
It's tough when you have a young family, though, and lots of hopes. I get it. I definitely get it.
I know. I've been guilty of that, just working so hard, and it's like you're doing it for the family.
Yeah.
You realize, man, I got to slow down here. I got to stop because if I'm doing it for them, but I'm never there for them, then what's the point? By the time they're 36, you got it figured out, and it's like, oh, sorry, kids.
When I had back, I'm trying to get the dates right. There was a time when nightscaping, if you got into lighting, that's what you did in the late 80s and early 90s. You did nightscaping. So I'd gotten married in New Jersey, and I took my wife on a honeymoon on a nightscaping trip. How's that for economy? Trying to make sure, getting it all together at the same time.
Oh, I love it. We've
been together 30 years now.
Hey, congrats, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's
been a good partner, very very supportive. Everybody knows who's in this business. The clients aren't always easy on you, so you have to somehow not bring that home and still maintain, which is nice.
If you did that, you got to teach me how to do that, because I was like, what's wrong? I'm like, well, this is what's wrong.
Yeah, I have a saying to myself, I don't want to relive it again at night. So over the years, Michelle, my wife's name is, she has. It's funny. It's ironic. We just talked about this a couple days ago, because my mother and father, who owned a small business, I would hear them every night, and why don't you do it like this? And why don't you do it like that? And that always stuck with me, that I wanted my home life and with my partner, Michelle, and my family not to have that. I didn't want to bring it with me again. I felt like that was my chance. It took me a long time to do it. It's not like I did it right away, but that was my chance to renew and recharge. It's funny that this came up instead of what we're supposed to be talking about.
Man, you know what? I usually have these questions that I think are important, but it's like, you know what? I just go with the flow, and then by the end, I'm like, crap, I didn't even ask him half the stuff I wanted to ask him.
Started. We're laying on the couch, getting a little psychology.
That's awesome. Exactly. Yep. And you know what? I think that's important. I mean, even inside my program, I teach all these like strategies and stuff like that, and they're great. They work phenomenally well. But every day I think, man, it's all about mindset, and it's about psychology and all this stuff. So yeah, those therapy sessions on the couch, 100%.
Yeah, it's I enjoy it, because I think, whether we want to admit it or not, as entrepreneurs and I would really classify us as a whole, if you're in the lighting arts, as someone that can be physical and dig, but we're also cerebral and we have a heart because we're passionate about what we're doing. So it's an interesting mix. We can't always shut off I have to put 1,000 feet of wire in today and then go on an appointment tonight with, how am I really feeling? And is this the best for me in my stage of my life? All that kind of thing. So it is definitely nice to be aware of how you're feeling and making sure that you're healthy. Just being positive. And that's really what I meant when you first asked that. I try not to, actually have a saying to myself. I said, it's the only thing you're allowed to lie about is how good you're doing.
Okay. I like that.
I don't know if that makes any sense or not. It's kind
Yeah.
of a funny tongue-in-cheek thing. Of course, you don't want to lie to yourself about that for too long, because you should make a change. And it sounds like it's what you try to teach, with your consulting, is that, use everyone else around you. It's why I'm here sitting with you and trying to reach back to others in the industry and say, if you can help me, because I don't get everything right and I don't have all the best way to do things even figured out yet. Maybe I can give you the same thing, and we can work together, because I think that's what really makes us all feel better when we're together.
Yeah. You know what's cool, and this isn't even on my list. We're not even gonna get to that list, by the way. But there's guys like you and Paul and like you OGs, like you don't care about, like, I put myself kind of in the middle. Like I'm definitely not an OG, but I'm not like up and coming. I mean, I started my own business 13 years ago. I sold it. I've experienced not everything, but a lot. Right. And then there's the newer guys, but I feel like my demographic and younger, we're like really kind of hesitant to like share the secrets, the landscape lighting secrets, and like to help people. But the older guys are like, dude, no problem. What do you need? And like, I hear stories of you guys like getting on the phone and talking with hours for people, and it's not a paid thing. Like,
No.
where does that come from? Like, I think it's so cool.
Maybe Paul won't remember this. We had a mentor, and you guys always hear his name, Bill Lachlan, Nightscaping. Bill was an orphan, and I think that had a lot to do with how he really reached. And Bill used to say always two things to us: a rising tide lifts all boats. And you couldn't handle all the work anyway, especially if you get into somebody with like your program and you're really rocking. You really can't, especially if you want to have good customer service. You're going to find that if you pre-qualified your client well enough to begin with, and bad ones creep in, but if 80% of your client list is pre-qualified, you're going to have a decent amount of work. So you might as well say, hey, I can't get to you right now. Maybe this guy can help you, but, please keep me in mind for something else. But Bill then also would always say that, basically if we're not together and we're really learning from each other, especially if we're in different parts of the country, we're just not as strong. We're not learning as fast, and we're not accelerating as fast as we could be. And we're really only hurting ourselves. I would consider it a sign of weakness if you don't share. The fact that you can't overcome someone, geez, you spent a couple hours on a bid and somebody else got it. Well, you probably didn't do that great of a job. If they stole the job from you, and in your presentation and your design, and consider it a learning moment. I think that there's plenty more to get. Don't waste any energy on it, because I assure you that you're going to learn a lot more from people that aren't sensing you're huddling together with all your information and you're sharing than you'll ever have lost on those few jobs that you think you gave someone too much information on. In terms of competitors, not necessarily clients.
Yeah,
you want to be careful of that line there.
That's such a good message, dude.
Yeah, I mean, did I explain that correct? I'm not sure. I feel like I jumped around a little bit.
That'll go on the highlight reel for sure. I love it, because I used to get so, like, I'm telling you, I'm in that lower tier where like my customer or my competitors would like just follow us around and be like, oh, you're in that direct mail, we're gonna do that direct mail, or you're gonna do this, and it would drive me crazy. But it's true when he says a rising tide lifts all boats, because the more companies are out there advertising landscape lighting, we would get calls. They'd be like, hey, we saw your ad in Lux magazine. I'm like, I don't know what Lux magazine is, but what was your name? I mean, so
isn't that interesting?
Getting leads from other people advertising.
It was your ad, and they called me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Or they said their neighbor had lighting that I didn't do, and it killed me. I remember. I'll give you a personal thing. When we were trying to build up our company, my family business is electrical contracting. By the way, one of your questions is, how did you get into lighting? My family business is electrical contracting. Well, my father was a very old school, hard charging guy. Smoked Marlboro Reds. Very physical man, had to be the smartest guy in the room all the time. And I never really clicked with him. I was much more, some may not agree with you, but I was more quiet than he was. Anyway, I would find out that when I would get other lighting projects in my community, they wouldn't call me. It would really kill me because listen, my father said to me, I would never get involved with that. Excuse the expression. This is just the way he talked. I would never get involved with that sissy work. That's what he really felt like this was. Now he was pulling pipe in and MC cable, pipe racks on the walls and wire that had to be pulled off the back of a flatbed truck. Not how we do it, and it hurt me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company. Thank God I did. Because now I own Botanical Lighting 100%. My wife and I, we always did. But the most important thing was that I was able to draw from, his type of mentality and say, I don't think I want to be like that. I want to try to be inclusive, to come full circle. And I was alone. So I refinanced my house twice to keep my business afloat. It's embarrassing, but I did. I had made payroll. I had to make payroll, cash advance on my credit cards many a times, coming up just to make ends meet. It's been a while since I've had to do that, thankfully.
That's good.
Very established now. But that's something that when I would go through these communities, kill me because I would never get the call. And I'd say, you don't understand. I'm all in. I am better. And I just, that for whatever reason, the landscaper got the business or their electrician got the business. I just didn't get to them fast enough, or they just didn't get it. I always say you're only as good as the aptitude of the client you're presenting to, right? Unless it's photos or unless you're really getting through with your photos, which is what we like to do.
Yeah.
So that was one of your first questions. It was how to get to what was it? How did I get into the business?
It'll all come up, it'll all come up. Well, it's true. I mean, I think a lot of have had that experience when you go to try to sell something, it doesn't happen. And then you're like, dude, like you have no idea. I have the best system here. I will take care of you. I will come to your house at midnight and change a bulb if I need to. Like we have that. Yeah. So that's really why I have my program, is because I want people to understand, like, you do have to learn some strategies, and if you can walk through these things that I know have worked, because I used to have the same feelings. I'm like, why didn't I get that deal? And then I figured out these systems that work. So it's true. Like you can be the best, you can have the best heart. You can be the best worker, the best business owner. I mean, you did all those sacrifices, refinancing your house, all that stuff for your employees. Obviously, you could have done another route. You did that to make it work. So that tells a lot about your heart and your character. But the customers, that doesn't mean anything to them. If someone comes behind you and is better at sales or better at marketing, then they're going to take that deal, and that doesn't help you out, right? So,
and it's so good that there's you, because when I started, and this I think because anyone even knows what the phone book is, but I actually had to lobby the phone book to put a heading in landscape lighting. There was actually no landscape lighting heading. Yeah, awesome. And I was very proud of that. But nobody was looking for it anyway. I mean, if they passed landscaping, they would get to landscape lighting, and we'd be the only one there.
Sweet.
But the landscaper would get the work, before we even got to us. And then
you need to promote that. You pioneered the phone book revolution.
I'm really dating myself, right? And that's where someone like you can really come in, because you really can sharpshoot much, much more efficiently. Where we had to do all kinds of other things, and they were very expensive. And especially in those days, I mean, you sent out a mailer. It was, I have to try. I think it was 15 grand. You could spend 50 grand very easily and only get 2 calls, right. And then you're only converting, and it's just a long story. But 30 years later, which is getting to maintenance, because I feel really silly about this. Remember we talked that
we do need to talk about this. So let's just go straight into it.
Let's do it.
You're like Mr. Maintenance. We've got questions coming in.
I evolved into it.
Let's talk about why is it so important to you? Like, and why should it be important to all of us?
Right. Well, what I didn't realize about maintenance was, and I'll reference Bill Lachlan again, was he would preach to us, oh, you got to do the maintenance. You got to do the maintenance. And we were so scared. We finally would get a client to buy landscape lighting. Again, this is in the early, the 90s. Nobody even heard of it. Now, this was even before pavers, and I want everybody to go to their paver guy and give him a big hug. And why would you do that? Because pavers increased our budgets. Back when you were planning and irrigation, your budgets were really small. When people get that bid for that paver patio and the paver driveway, it's $100 plus. We never had those budgets. So in the outdoor arts, your budgets were $5,000, $30,000 at the most. and paving changed all that.
Interesting.
So isn't that? So what had happened was early on, Bill would say, you got to put the maintenance in with your signed contract right above the signature line. And we were scared to death. Like, you understand, we barely got this job. All this. And we were just so scared. And then we didn't, I didn't put maintenance in my agreements for, 15 years, was it? And then finally I said, you know what? I have to start doing this because the requests were coming in so much so that we had to get organized, if you will. We had to get groups down. We had to figure out what we're going to do for them, how we're going to profit, yada, yada, yada. So, man. After about 5 years of doing that, I looked at how maintenance depressurized our entire sales process. I looked at how it was extremely profitable if it's written the right way, and I'll go through how we do it, and how it was a constant reminder. Whoever looked at one of our sites, it was always looking good because it wasn't, a lamp fell over and broke the fixture, and now it's shining into the neighbor's house. And I'm telling people to go look at it if they like our work.
Exactly.
If they want to sign up for us. And then finally, there's phases, right? So you already said this. So you're getting that second, third phase. This is all easy stuff. But what I didn't realize was the machine that was. It's a constant. Every time you send them a bill, they think about, do I do phase 2 or the next phase? Every time you're there and you're cleaning something. The neighbor had asked me about lighting. Get him the stuff right now. I have a bill right here. And then it's just this machine. So fast forward now 30 years, I would say it's let me get the math, somewhere between 40 to 60% of our yearly generated new leads, we'll call them new old leads, come from maintenance.
That's huge.
And it's very easy, right? Because we don't have to now be scared. We're working for somebody new. Are they going to pay us? Do we know where to park the trucks? Is the dog going to get out? Is there a buried fence? Is there on and on and on? We have drawings, not to scale, but as-built drawings of where the fixtures are. We know where to tap into. Anyway, so that's really what maintenance has done for us. And I think, though, it's not going to be good for somebody. Got my little note sheet here. It's not going to be good for somebody that's just, if they want to try to build up a business and go on vacation all the time. I think maintenance should be done by the designer for the first few years, really get it right and going. And, if you're the owner operator, I think you should be on every maintenance call, because not only are you maintaining it to the best that it can be, but you're also looking at your own mistakes. You're looking at, you don't put stake mount fixtures next to birch roots. It just doesn't work. You're never getting them out unless you smash the tops off. Anyway, all these cool little things that make you a better designer, business owner, and a better service person.
Yeah.
Really. Do you want me to jump into some of the more specific things on how we do our agreements?
I do, but I got to take a quick break. So
okay,
I'm loving where we're going with this. So if you'll just hang on.
Tighten it up.
No, I want to do like a 4-hour show. I just don't know if anyone will stick around. I don't know. Are we that entertaining? Are we that informative? I don't know. So
I'll talk numbers when we get back. People love that.
Yes.
What's the money? How much money do you make at maintenance? They want to know.
Let's get to it because we're capitalists. We want to make money. So, all right. Yeah. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with Jeremy Sviben of Botanical Lighting. And we got to find time to ask you about lighting too. We'll have you back on.
Came for maintenance.
All right. Sounds good. We'll be right back, guys.
Here it's Simon. I just got one thing to ask. Can you dig it? I can dig it. You can dig it. She can dig it. We can dig it. They can dig it. Can you dig it? Can you call when you get a chance? 617-992-4793. I can dig it. See you. Bye.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Hey, everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turfs Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's the Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's time for Turfs Up Radio. Now you can catch us streaming live 24/7 with pro talk, pro tips, and pro interviews. Simply visit turfsupradio.com.
All right, guys, we are back. It's Ryan Lee, host of Lighting for Profits. I'm joined here with Jeremy Sviben, and we are talking maintenance and how important it is for your business and how you can make some money, right? Oh, let me get you unmuted. Rookie mistake.
All right, I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we got you.
Good. I just noticed a question up from Nicholas that I think I'll answer just by answering the next set of points that I wanted to make. And please let me know if I didn't. So it's not a maintenance plan in as much as it's a show up plan. And I really want to change the way people think about that. It's not meant to be discounted in any way. You're there helping them. They don't have to make a call. You're automatically showing up at 3 planned intervals is what we do, unless they want to add more. Some clients, believe it or not, want to have us there every 30 or 60 days. Think of it like the windshield on your car. And that's exactly how you describe it. If you only clean the windshield on your car 3 months, 3 times a year, that would still be that wouldn't be enough, but we're not going to probably do it any more than that. So spring, right after they're done the cleanup services in their gardens, late summer, in time for the leaves changing, I always say, or the trick or treat holiday when that comes back. Everyone wants to show off. And then in the fall, when they're done the leaf time cleanup services, a lot of times the fixtures get kicked and knocked around. So it's really cleaning of the lenses, pruning back vegetation, especially now with LED. But this is really where it gets cool. Again, it's a show up plan. You're not going to try to give them any kind of discount. It's not meant for that. They're basically locking you into you're locking each other into a schedule that you're going to be there. So we do $89 for the first half an hour. Now, it's your own market. You do what you have to do. And then we do $69 for the second half an hour. And then that number just continues to run per half an hour. $39 for a digger helper. Now, the key is you put this language at the top of your signature line after you're done closing the design contract. Because now into perpetuity, you show up 3 times a year, good deal canceled. You don't have to call them. Please do not call them. Say, we're going to show up and just take care of it. We don't need you to be here. We don't need you to be home. Which leads to a little bit of a mechanical problem. We, about 15 years ago, committed to putting every power center outside. We almost don't even want them in the garage because it screws our schedule up. Yep. You don't need a person in the office making scheduling and calling and the person's running late. All you have to do is come up with a work order that day. We're hitting these 10 people, preferably in a group, right? As you get more services, your groups will get tighter, just the way that it is. And then you go out and do them. So I want you to do the math real quick. So imagine, let's say each of your services, let's say you're only able to add 10 a year. 10 times 3 times 100. Every year you can start to see how this can grow and grow. Now that's only $100. I mean, the chances are that you're going to be there an extra hour at just that one stop. And chances are a tree had died and now you have to put a second fixture in. I think you know where this is going. Yep. So most of the time our service stops where we're only maybe really thinking initially it was a $100 stop is $280, $310, $160. So when you times that by 10, 15 stops a day, now you have a $2,000 to $3,000 job that it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pure profit. There's no fixtures really. You're just wiping stuff down. It's really a $4,500 job. Plus, you've covered all the things that we've already talked about. You're there as a reminder. Your jobs are only looking better. You're tightening them up. They are adding another phase, maybe, on and on and on. So that's the quick and dirty. The biggest thing that I feel that I had to get out of my system was I'm not giving them a discount. They should, I'm say honored, but they should be glad that I'm locking them in. They don't have to chase me. I'm going to be there. We're going to handle it. the other biggest thing, and I know it hurts because you made power center outside. You're thinking, oh, they already have the outlet. It's already GFCI protected. It's in a spot I can use. Trust me when I tell you, one of the biggest habits you can get into is getting a direct, dedicated line for your lighting, because it's going to cut down on a lot of problems in the future. If you can't, I get it. You're trying to build a business. Talking to a guy that refinanced his house and put his payroll, I get it. But as soon as you can, you have to get all your power centers outside. You have to try to get them on. Going forward, obviously, you wouldn't never retrofit that unless you could. But you want to try to get it's all your problem as fast as possible, and then start to run the math just for fun on your services. I think you're going to be really surprised about how much silent sales that does for you, if that's a good way to put it, Ryan.
No, it's fantastic. Honestly, I love what you're saying. I only did one transformer in a garage because the lady was adamant that we put it there. We could have easily put it outside. She went inside. I literally was like ready to fist fight her over it. And she was like, no, Ryan, I want to hear that. I'm like, fine, it's there. We never did one after that because literally every time we'd go to schedule maintenance, it was like, I'm running late. It's like, no, we're not running late. We're running early. So no, that's just not how it works. So that was our rule ever since then. It was like, dude, I'll turn down a job if I can't put it outside. And that was
Brian, that is a huge pro tip. And I really I can't emphasize that enough, how much that has hurt our company, because we're going to talk real quick about installable days. May I?
Yeah.
So installable days, I urge everyone to do this. How many real installable days a year does your market have? Get a load of this. In New Jersey, ours is only 179.
Yeah.
Is that number mind-blowing? We only have 179 installable days. Now, you don't realize this, but let's just take one day out of the week, just rain. You got behind on another one. And this is a very conservative estimate. So, make it 190. But anyway, then let's say our ground locks up November 15th to March 15th. Now, if again, you're in a southern market, then just add those days in. But I think you're going to be really shocked to know that your installable days may only be about 200.
Yep.
And everything you buy and do and how efficient you need to be, and Ryan, you could talk to this way more than I can. I just lived it in my little world. I had to divide by this 200 number, adding another layer of management, buying another piece of equipment, on and on and on. Or most importantly, figuring out how much I had to charge per hour. I knew that I couldn't be any less than a certain amount because I couldn't ever recover my overhead plus make the profit that I wanted to make.
And I call it daily overhead. So it's the exact same thing. You love it. Total cost for the year, divide it by 200, 180. I mean, we're all, if you're north, south, whatever, and that, you're going to come up with that number. It's always higher than what most people think. They're like, damn, I didn't know it cost me $1,500 a day to run a business.
A day. And if you miss that day, it's $3,000 tomorrow.
Yep.
Now, finally, I'm so glad you said that, because what we've learned over the years is the maintenance puts us at ease a little bit. All right. I think I have X amount of my year sold because I have these X amount of days I know my crews are working. And if one other kind of a pro tip, that term is so silly, but if you don't have a maintenance don't you have a maintenance crew? Yeah, I have 4 kids. If you don't have a maintenance crew, you then can go to the service before the day's job. I'd recommend after, get the job under control. And then if you're running a little early, do your services a couple in the afternoon for a few weeks, and then until you get your schedule compressed. And then, okay, hey, all of a sudden now I'm a maintenance guy.
That's a great point.
All in. I didn't mind driving a maintenance truck instead of, the car obviously I have now. I don't do that, but I didn't mind going on my way home. I'd leave a little early, job was under control. I'd go hit a few maintenances, and that money was almost all profit then because I was doing the work. So there's little tricks that you do that until you get to that, 7 to 15 year mark where you really know your costs. So excuse me for being so long-winded about it, but I think the maintenance is going to really depressure your psyche, which is what we talked about when we first started, when I first started this conversation was, being calm, having a certain amount of revenue in the books every year that you're not uncomfortably looking for.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's a great message. That's what we did. We'd go out and do an install, and then the last hour of the day, go hit up maintenance or whatever. And then until we got it, like, man, we're actually kind of getting busy here. So we started scheduling one day a week.
Love it.
You have only 200 install days. Well, now one of those days is maintenance. So at some point it made sense to be like, you know what, let's hire a full-time maintenance guy. He could go knock out maintenance for 2 or 3 days and then come join the install team. So it's just an evolution. It's a work in progress.
Here's another tip. Whoever you hire for maintenance will be the best. If he leaves, he'll know everything about your company.
Yeah.
Every design thing you do, every problem solution. So you're basically training your competitor. So make sure you really trust that person. And that's happened to me too. We've all lost key employees and we've all survived. It doesn't really matter that much, actually. It's just more of an annoyance. Then you might lose a few bucks, but you're still. It is what it is.
Well, a couple of things you did mention too. I love maintenance because for me, I say this, but I don't really mean it. I didn't care if I broke even on maintenance. Like if I could just break even on maintenance, I knew the benefit of those soft sells and other things that came down the road from it. So literally just to have my truck in front of someone's house in a nice neighborhood, I knew I was going to get a $10,000, $20,000 job. Now I'm a profit guy. I like money.
Sure.
So I wasn't about to just give the maintenance away and not make a profit. But my point is that it's really that important. The backside sales of it are so huge and so residual that it would make sense. I mean, you could theoretically break even on maintenance. Again, I'm not suggesting you do that because I want to make as much money.
I see your point. It's free advertising, so it's advertising you're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Is it in a sense you're getting your advertising paid for is what you kind of a different way would say that, right?
Yeah, I like it. Well, here, let's do this. Do you have more time?
Yeah. You want to talk about professional connections or?
Well, let's do this. I'm going to take one more break. Normally, I cut you off, man. It's 30 minutes. You had your time. It's over. But this is going so good, and I want to ask you some more things. So stick around. We're going to do one more break, and then we'll come back and ask you those final. We'll go over those final couple of things. Does that sound good?
Yes, it does.
All right, guys. I'm enjoying this conversation. I hope you guys are. We got Jeremy Sviben, and we're going to have to just have him come back on to promote Lighting Shrink because we're not even going to get there. So stick around, and we'll be back in just like less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. Stay with me.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., the Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review. The Weekend Review.
With all of your favorite Turfs Up Radio hosts, including Hecubus, Jose, Roland, Daniel. I'll pump you up goals.
You are.
The Wise Guy, Steve Cohen.
He's a big boy. He knows what he said. What'd you say?
The Green Veteran.
Giddy up.
Holly, Let's Get Physical Bowls. Wayne the Prophet Bowls, and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays at 9 to 10 a.m. right here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is Jeff Hester, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turfs Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turfs Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you will be connected with other pros in the industry that want to do business with you. Not to mention property owners who need help with just about everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join turfsupnation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. To sign up for this free service, go to turfsupnation.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits. Ryan Lee here on Turfs Up Radio, joined now with Jeremy Sviben. Man, we got to just keep going. Like, I think we could just go all night. What do you think? So we just got a message from Kyle Myers. I just discovered Lighting Shrink, and I love it. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks for being here. And we just got to get the word out because Lighting Shrink is awesome. Are we ready to go there yet? Because we only got a few more minutes in the show. I want to finish up on maintenance first. Is that all right?
Yeah, what's good for you? You want to talk lighting shrink or maintenance? We done? What else?
Let's do maintenance. What else
Okay.
are we going to talk about?
Basically, you always had to. I think I hear this a lot about demos. You want to cover that or maintenance? I feel like we've kind of wrapped it around.
All right, if
Do you
you're
have
good,
any thoughts on maintenance?
I don't.
Okay, I do have one. Oh, I have one. Good deal canceled. Changed my life. There's no sending out of agreements on maintenance for us, Ryan. We don't redo them every year. We don't. It's good deal canceled, and we communicate them through the invoice. So let's say someone did move or someone they tried to hurt you financially. Remember, you're already working for these clients, and chances are you know who they are. So I can really I'm going to go on a limb. I could really name on one hand how many times someone moved and burned us on a maintenance invoice that we couldn't tell they're moved. You see the for sale sign, on and on and on. So
Right.
the biggest thing we put in there is good deal canceled. We don't try to reconnect it with them every year and all the postage and emails and confirmations. So then you're thinking, well, how do I then, get more, my rates had changed. What you do is you honor the rate that was in the contract, and then you just simply say in the invoice, hey, just wanted to let you know our rates will be increasing to XXX. Please let us know you'd like to cancel the service or continue on. And then you're again good. No person in the office managing your schedule. It's just a constant revenue stream that never shuts off.
That's awesome. I think that's huge because I know I've been bogged down to that before with that. And anytime you can employ automation in your business is going to save you so much time, so much money. And that's really what that is you're like, hey, you're just agreeing like this is good until it's not good. So if you guys want to cancel ever, just let us know. Happy to do it.
And please don't ever feel like I think what happens is there's an old expression, not so much anymore. Now I think the installers, designers do better than we ever did first starting out, but we were trying to buy things with our wallet, as we would say, or our timeline and our time availability. And I think what we have to always remember is the clients, if they're sophisticated enough to want landscape lighting, they're probably fairly busy at work, their family commitments. Yeah, they really don't want to deal with this. You've proven to them you're the professional, and they just want it handled. And I can't begin to tell you that enough. And finally, it's a filter if they want to get in your wheelhouse about it. It's kind of like, hey, maybe I don't want to work with this client. They're a little too, they're too scared about things, or they're too difficult. And maybe you kind of shy away from them. And that's a nice little tell, if you will, if you play poker, that they're not somebody that is nice and agreeable, if that makes sense.
Well, I love the topic of maintenance. I think it's so important to have a maintenance strategy in your business. I started off the show talking about customer service and really how we're all in the customer service business. We just happen to be installing and designing and maintaining landscape lighting systems because it's that important. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that just don't care. They're like, you know what? I'm just there for the quick buck. I want to make the $5,000 and get out. And they don't realize, just like my home builder who built my house, he doesn't realize like he could have a raving fan. I love this house. I just didn't like the process that it took to get there. And people might really like the lighting install, but then all of a sudden, if it's hard to get a hold of you, you got lights out and the path lights are crooked and they're probably not going to use you again, but if you just take the time and have the system in place to take care of these people, they all get richer. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they all get richer. They want to give you their money. They appreciate it because they just want someone to take care of it for them. And so why not have it be you, the guy, instead of somebody else coming in, a landscaper, another lighting company, whatever it is, and stealing that business that you already worked hard for. You already paid for the lead. You already did all the hard work. Now the easy part is just taking care of them. And unfortunately, too many people overlook that. So I appreciate your insight on this because you really are the master when it comes to it. You figured it out. And you're making things happen with that approach. So I love it.
Yeah. I did notice something that it was in your note sheet. What do you include with your maintenance? Nothing. We basically say we're going to show up as mechanics and techs, and we're going to assess. I didn't say nothing, but there's no freebie is what I meant. We're going to assess every nuance that we originally assessed when we did your design. And then we itemized the material. So it'd be, the lamps, if you had to run a new line of cable, of course, on and on and on. We itemize everything on one sheet, and then we basically can just fill out what the amounts are that we used. And then, in that case, obviously, lighting, shrink, connect, all the things that we do for them, are a la carte. Is that a good way to put it? We don't try to we're giving them a professional to show up every time and do what they say they're going to do is what we give them.
Cool. That's awesome. I appreciate the insight. Let's talk. We've got just a couple more minutes, but let's talk about Lighting Shrink.
Sure.
Anyone who's used it, installed it, they loved it. But I think we need to get you more business. So let's don't be shy here. Like, what is it about Lighting Shrink that is better than other connections?
Well, maintenance is what developed Lighting Shrink. We maintain about we visit 25,000 fixtures a year. So we've learned over the years that if there's no way you can make a connection reliably tight, then the connection fails. Basically, as that connection heats and cools, right, it gets hot, and then those strands expand and contract, and then ultimately the connection destroys itself. So there is connections that have kind of evolved after ours. I had my first fire underneath a deck in around 96. And the guy was in the auto body business. He came out the deck, he looked down, he saw the fire in the deck, and he knew enough to go around and unplug the transformer. And it was just a loosely connected, and it just smoldered, over time. There is a video on the Lighting Shrink website which shows you how one side of a piece of 12-2, one side of the cable, if that's just cut and smoldering, will not trip a fuse. I don't know if anybody knew that, but if you ever, for fun, just cut one side of the cable and gently hold it together, it won't trip the fuse. So if you get a shovel nick or the connection itself isn't completely tight, then obviously that smolders over time as it comes off and on and literally destroys itself. Then sealing, right? So we could talk about, oh man, can I put it in gel? Can I not? There's a place for every connection. I'm the type of person that I want it to be as professional as possible. And to me, a clean inline connection just looks the most professional. They're not that expensive. It's basically a couple bucks. I don't know what a gel fill connection costs anymore, but let's say that's 80 cents to $1.30. You're not really saving, any real money. Basically, you want to take about another 60 seconds. And then every time that you make a connection, you're done now forever. I can honestly say that we've never had a failed Lighting Shrink connection. I don't know of any other connection like that. If you heat it for that till the ooze comes out about an eighth of an inch from each end, that's the gasket, and that basically seals it. It's just done.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the only downside from what I hear is that it might cost a little bit more, 70 cents to $1 more. And It might take a little bit more time, but there's not like, and I've told this when I'm telling people, when I'm selling landscape lighting on Angie's List, they rate you by, quality, price, reliability, service, all these different things. We would get straight A's on everything except for price. We'd get B, sometimes C. Like, damn it. No one gives me a B. No one gives me a C. But I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty fair. Like, we're not the cheapest. We might deserve a B in price. But if you look at all the other things, we got an A on it. And then ask, would you use these guys again? They would always say yes. Right. And so I guess that would be the only downside to Lighting Shrink is they get straight A's on reliability and everything else. But then they get maybe a B on price. Okay, big deal. You're building an empire. You're building a business here. So why not take the extra time? Why not spend the extra money and just do it right the first time so that you're not going back and fixing your mistakes later on?
Yeah, it's really a competitive advantage too. We use the loop. Hopefully our art speaks for itself, but we use the loop, for the guys that really want to get in, guys and, obviously women want to get into the details of it. We'll show them the loop, how it's sealed. Plus it just looks cool. I mean, you're out there, you're heating it up, and you just really are a commanding presence when you're installing these type of connections, and it really validates your professionalism that you're the best. And I don't like to push it too hard because I think people don't like to be told what to do. It's there, it's available. I did it to save Botanical lighting. We used it as a competitive advantage for 7-8 years, that all my friends started pumping me for it. They're like, you got to give me that stuff. I said, all right, man. All right. And then I relented. And then it just, really only there's really guys that have really been doing it a long time are kind of the only ones that really use it. But little by little, once your business gets past 7, 10, 12 years, you start to see your failed connections coming in behind you. And you say, oh man, why is this happening? Well, you just can't ever be sure it's tight. I always say solder's A+, by the way, Lighting Shrink's A-. So, hey, if you want to solder, go ahead. but you still have to seal it with something, which you might as well be a heat shrink. So
Yeah.
you might as well just go to lighting shrink, especially with LED now.
I agree.
It's a no-brainer.
I agree. I think that's spot on.
Like
So
my buddy Jeff Hezzer, he's a good dude. I mean, whenever you solder, I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I always liked him. Solder if you can, but you might as well just use lighting shrink. It's worry about your art, not the connection. Worry about your customer service. I already figured out the connection for you. If that doesn't sound too confident, I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on here. I know you're a busy man. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. Tell the listeners how can we find how can we get a hold of you? What is the website?
Well, it's just lightingshrink.com and it's on every tube. So if you ever wanted to find out about it and enjoy the videos, go ahead. And then there's sample packs on there. So if you want to ease in for $40 to $60 and see if a professional connection is what you want to do, you're ready, just get it going. And I'm always a softie, if you're really if you're not doing that well, but you really want to go to professional connections, let me know. We'll always send you a few to get you started.
You heard it. You heard it here live on Lighting for Profits on Turfs Up Radio. You committed. All right. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate being on. And we went long and we still have more stuff to talk about, but I appreciate you jumping on here. Guys, I just want to encourage you guys to always keep working on your business. If nothing else, if it's 1 hour a month, 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day, just keep working on your business. I promise your future self will thank you. Make sure to check out turfsupradio.com where you can download the podcast as well. I'll be uploading this later tonight and just keep moving forward. So guys, I really appreciate you, your support. And thanks again, Jeremy, for coming on. You're a great guest and provided some great info. So thanks guys. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time. See ya.